Stem cells are undifferentiated and unspecialised cells. Stem cells have the ability to differentiate into many different types of cell. This simple diagram shows some stem cells. You can think of these as just generalised cells. At this stage, they don't have a particular role. For the exam, you need to understand the concept of stem cells. The following cell types are just examples. So then, stem cells found in muscle tissue will become muscle cells. Neural stem cells in the brain could differentiate into nerve cells. Bone marrow stem cells can produce red blood cells. And stem cells in the gut can produce intestinal cells. To understand stem cells, it's good to appreciate that the process of differentiation is irreversible. Once a stem cell has become differentiated, it cannot change back or turn into any other cell type. However, this knowledge isn't specifically needed for the exam. So, how are new stem cells produced, or do we run out? Stem cells can replicate by mitosis, producing many more stem cells. Stem cells can self-renew, producing more stem cells to maintain a pool. Remember that once a stem cell has specialised, it cannot replicate to produce more stem cells. In the body, you can actually find different types of stem cell. Do you know what these are? Both animals and plants have stem cells. In mammals, you can find adult stem cells and embryonic stem cells. Plants also have stem cells that we call meristem cells. For the exam, you should be able to describe the function of stem cells in adult animals, in embryos, and meristem cells in plants, all of which are covered elsewhere in the course. Embryonic stem cells are found in zygotes and embryos between 1 and 9 weeks old. Zygote is the term that we use for a fertilised ovum, and an embryo is what grows from the zygote. This simple diagram gives an idea of what an embryo looks like. Remember, this develops from a fertilised egg cell. Inside the embryo, you can see embryonic stem cells. What's the purpose of these embryonic stem cells? Embryonic stem cells are responsible for the development of the whole body from just a few cells. These cells are present from when you were a zygote and an embryo between 1 and 9 weeks old. This development takes the embryo from this to developing a fetus. So how is it possible to get a fetus from a collection of stem cells? Embryonic stem cells have the ability to differentiate into any type of specialised cell found in the adult organism. For example, they could differentiate into intestinal cells, muscle cells, and even nerve cells. We call this type of stem cell totipotent. You don't need to memorise this word for the exam, but it helps you to distinguish them from other types of stem cells. Remember, once the stem cells have differentiated and specialised, they can't turn back or even turn into other types of cell. In the exam, you could be asked to describe the function of stem cells in embryos. Adult stem cells are only found in specific parts of the body, such as in the bone marrow. Despite the name, adult stem cells can also be found in children as well as in adults. An example of a source of stem cells is the bone marrow. This is what's found inside the hard exterior of your bones. Some other sources of adult stem cells are the brain, your heart, and also the liver. Let's take a look at what adult stem cells are capable of. Adult stem cells can only differentiate into specific types of specialised cells in the location that they're found. For example, bone marrow can form many types of blood cells, including red blood cells, white blood cells, and also platelets. For the exam, you need to know that bone marrow stem cells can form many types of cell, including blood cells. Because adult stem cells can only differentiate into specific types of specialised cells, we call these multipotent stem cells. You don't need to memorise the word multipotent, but it might help you to remember that adult stem cells are different to the other kinds of stem cell. Remember that, like with all stem cells, once adult stem cells have specialised, they can't revert back to being a stem cell, and they also can't change the type of specialised cell that they are. So once an organism is fully grown, what's the purpose of adult stem cells? Adult stem cells are important for replacing cells and repairing parts of the body when it's injured. For example, bone stem cells allow bone fractures to heal, and skin stem cells allow the skin to heal when it's cut. For the exam, you only need to be able to describe the function of stem cells in adult animals and use stem cells from bone marrow as an example of how they can form many cell types, including blood cells. The cells in the meristem in plants are stem cells. The meristem is found in the tips of the roots and shoots. This diagram over on the left represents a root and over on the right a shoot. This red patch drawn on both the root and the shoot is where the meristem cells would be found in them. These are areas of rapid cell division in the plant. For the exam, you need to know that the stem cells in plants are located in the meristem tissue. So what makes the cells of the meristem unique? The cells of the meristem can differentiate into any plant cell type throughout the life of the plant. This is different to animal cells. We call this type of stem cell totipotent, like very early embryonic stem cells. You don't need to memorize the word totipotent for the exam, but it helps you to distinguish them from other stem cells. While adult humans no longer have stem cells that can differentiate into every type of cell in the body, plants have stem cells that can throughout their life. These cells go on to become specialised cells as required. So some examples of specialised cells you will find in the plant are palisade cells that look like this, guard cells that look like this, and also root hair cells, which look like this. How is having these totipotent cells an advantage to plants? Stem cells from the meristem are responsible for the growth of new plant tissues. Unlike humans, plants continue growing throughout their life and also undergo seasonal changes with the climate. For example, if the plants fall off or if the plant is damaged or cut, it can regrow. For the exam, you should know how meristem tissue is different from human stem cells and be able to describe its function.
Thanks for watching. If you want to take your GCSE revision to the next level, head over to launchpadlearning.com and check out our smart learning platform that's been designed to get you top results in your exams. We cover your whole specification and make revision fun with interactive quizzes, easy to follow videos and more. You'll be kept motivated by your own AI tutor who's here to support you every step of the way. To check it out for yourself, click here. Or click here to keep watching a selection of the videos from our full GCSE Biology course. See you there!